everyone, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I just wanted to play around with some makeup. I don't really have a look in mind. We're just kind of winging this. So fingers crossed it all turns out well. But I hope that you enjoy this video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel before you leave and check out my social media links below if you haven't already. And let's just go ahead and dive right in and see what look we come up with. So I'm going to start with the face today because I find sometimes when I start with my eyes it's harder to get like an overall picture of how the look is turning out. So I'm going to go in with the Milani Prime Perfection Face Primer just to blur the skin a little bit. So just mainly applying this around my T-zone. And then I have a little bit of redness peeking through. I kind of caught the sun a little bit just on the top of my forehead over the weekend. So I'm going to go in with the Mecca Cosmetica Anti-Redness Primer. And I'm going to take a big old dense fiber brush and let's just apply this. I did a glitter eye look yesterday and there is still glitter all over my face. Like, I have had a shower, obviously, I've like washed my face, I've used makeup remover, I've like moisturized my skin. The glitter is not budging. Like, is there a trick to get glitter off or something? Because I don't know it. Like, it's literally all over my face still and I cannot get it off. Like, someone help please. Now that it looks like I'm seasick and my face has gone green, let's go in with a nice full coverage foundation. So I'm taking the Estée Lauder Double Wear in Desert Beige and I got a new beauty blender finally. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing that it's lighter because my other ones were so dirty and I feel like this is just going to show the dirt even more. But I really needed to get some new ones and it feels so clean and fresh. And I love this foundation. It's definitely like a your skin but better foundation. It just has such a beautiful finish. It's not heavy or cakey on the skin. I really like it. I'm taking the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer in Chantilly. You guys know this is my favorite concealer by now. It's just so full coverage, just sits so beautifully on the skin. And I'm just going to be applying this under my eyes and on my eyelids. And this will not only cover the dark circles, add a little bit more coverage to the skin. I want to add like a base for my powder highlight, so I'm going in with the Anastasia Liquid Glow in Perla, and this is like a champagne gold liquid highlight, sorry. And I'm just going to be applying this with my beauty blender, and my beauty blender, it was like a light pink 5 minutes ago, now it's like a dirty brown. Let's just ignore that. But I'm just going to be applying this to the tops of my cheekbones and taking that around to above my brow. This will just help the powder highlight that we apply a little bit later on really like pop. So we've applied all of our liquids. Now it's time to set everything into place. So I'm taking the Mercier Loose Setting Powder in Translucent. I'm just going to use the beauty blender to get rid of any creases, because we don't want to be setting those. And I'm just going to be dabbing this on rather than like swiping because we don't want to move any of those liquids. I'm just lightly going to be applying this over the liquid highlight because we are going to go in with a pressed powder for the rest of the face, and that adds a little bit of coverage. We don't want to be adding coverage over the liquid highlight because otherwise it won't peek through and that kind of defeats the purpose. Then for the rest of the face, using the Australis Fresh and Flawless Pressed Powder in Natural. As you can see, it's been used and abused. I really love this product. It just sets the face while adding a little bit of coverage, but you know, it doesn't change the coverage, or sorry, it doesn't change the color of your foundation. It doesn't like take off any of your foundation. Plus it's drugstore, so that's a bonus. I just did a quick contour. Now let's bronze up the skin. So I'm taking the Physcians Formula Butter Bronzer in Light, and I really need to get some new bronzers. I only have a couple, but I feel like once you find the shade that suits your skin, it's not like you can have fun and try other shades because then, you know, you're gonna look muddy or it's gonna look orange on you. Like, once you find your shade, there's not much you can do, you know. Like, yes, of course you can try bronzers that have, you know, a bit of shimmer, a bit of like a glow to them, but it's kind of like a meh product in my collection. I don't know, maybe it's just me. And I'm using a Morphe Y8 brush to dab the product into the skin rather than swirling the brush around because we don't want to move any of the product. And I find this technique really like packs the product onto the skin, and you can be really precise with where you apply the product rather than like being a little bit messy with it. It is a little bit of a workout though, like, whew! So because I don't know what eye look I'm doing yet, I'm going to leave blush and highlight because, you know, I obviously want to apply a blush and highlight that kind of corresponds to the eye look. So I'm going to do my brows and then we'll do the eyes and we'll come back to the face a little bit later. There's literally specks of blue glitter on my face. Like, I didn't even use blue glitter. What is going on? Okay, let's get started on the eyes. So I'm going to use the Morphe / Jaclyn Hill palette. I feel like you just can't go wrong with that palette. And I'm going to start off with the shade Creamsicle, which is this nice light orangey shade. This is my favorite shade to put in the crease. So I'm just going to be using that as my transition shade. I've done a lot of like half cut creases and cut creases lately, so I think I'm going to do a halo eye style today. I don't know what colors or anything like that, but we'll just run with it. Let's get a little bit more definition into this halo eye style. So I'm going to use the shade Roxanne, which is kind of like a burnt browny orange shade. And I'm just going to start to apply this on my outer and inner corner and blending between. And I'm just using a really light hand so that I can slowly and gradually build up the intensity. So I think I'm going to add like a reddy purpley vibe to this look, and the Jaclyn Hill palette doesn't really have the color that I'm after. So I'm going to dip into the Violet Voss HG palette and take a little bit of Wine and Dine, which is this nice like burgundy shade, and I'm just gonna lightly pop that over the browny orangey shade that we just used. And this will just create more of like a reddy purple undertone to the look rather than brown. So I want some more definition in my inner and outer corner, so I'm dipping back into the Jaclyn / Morphe palette, and I'm gonna take the shade Jacz, which is this like reddy brown shade, and I'm gonna be applying that to my outer and inner corner and blending between the shades just so that we get some like intensity into the look. So how are we feeling about this? I think I'm liking it. I like the like burnt orangey browny red vibes that we have going on. So I'm now going to go ahead and carve out this halo eye. So I think I'm going to go for more of like a harsh halo eye look. Like instead of carving out the concealer going like fading upwards, I'm going to kind of create a line and then use the concealer below the line, if that makes sense. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm going to be using the Morphe concealer to carve out my lid space today. Now I find this to be a little bit thick and a little bit cakey under my eyes, so I thought because it does have that thick consistency, maybe I'll try it to carve out, you know, cut creases, halo eyes, and see how I like that. So I'm just going to take this on a flat top synthetic brush, and I'm just going to create a line above my natural crease as I do have quite hooded eyes, so I want more lid space to work with. Okay, I don't really like the Morphe concealer for this step, so I'm just going to go back in with the Nars concealer that we used earlier. I think the Morphe one just kind of dries a little fast and doesn't have quite enough coverage for this step. So I'm just going to go back to what I know and what I love. I'm going to go in with a clean flat top brush just to blend out those edges a little bit. And before I do anything else, I'm just going to go back in with a little bit of Roxanne, which was the second shade we used. And I'm going to be applying that on the edges of the concealer so that when we apply the lid shade, there's a nice blend of colours rather than any harsh lines. So I went ahead and did my other eye, and then I did some swatches on my hand to figure out what shade I should do on the lid. And I actually went back to the Violet Voss HG palette, and I was looking at the shades So Jelly and Cranberry Splash. So I did some swatches, and this is So Jelly, and then this is Cranberry Splash. And then I actually mixed the shades together to make this gorgeous like cranberry, like pink iridescent shade. I don't know, I just fell in love with it, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mix Cranberry Splash and So Jelly and apply that to my lid. I'm loving this color. It's so like unique and beautiful, but let's quickly blend out the edges because the unblendedness of it is like putting me on edge right now. So let's go in with Wine and Dine and just blend out those edges. I'm going to quickly curl my lashes and then apply some of the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and then we can work on the lower lash line. Okay, for the lower lashes, I don't know whether to do like a straight color under them, like you know what I've got in my crease, or whether to bring the pink also to the middle of my lower lashes. I don't know, I wish you guys were here so that you could give me your opinions. This is okay, this is my thought pattern. I want to do the pink in the middle of my lower lashes, but I've got like two, I guess, bags under my eyes, and when I apply like eyeshadow there, it kind of like creases up in them and then like it gets transferred. Oh, I don't know what to do. Okay, let's do my waterline because either way, the waterline's going to be the same. So I'm going to use the Marc Jacobs Highliner Matte Gel Eye Crayon in Fine Wine. This is literally my favorite eyeliner. I use it all the time. So I'm just going to apply it in my waterline. It's a nice like cranberry color. Okay, you know what? I'm going to take the pink and apply it to the center of my lower lash line. Why not mix it up a little bit? So I'm going to go back into Jaclyn Heel Palette. Let's take Roxanne, and I'm just going to be applying this to my inner and outer corner of my lower lash line. And I'm going to take this down a little bit further than I usually would, because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. You know, I want people to see that there is that pink in the center of my lower lash line. Let's take some Wine and Dine to really intensify this lower lash line. I'm going back in with So Jelly and Cranberry Splash and applying that to the center of my lower lash line. And finishing off the eyes with some lower lash mascara. Moving back onto the face, I'm going to add a flush of color to the cheeks. So I'm using the Too Faced Love Flush Your Love Is King blush, and I thought this like dark purpley shade will tie in with the eyes really nicely. So I'm just going to be popping that on my cheeks and bringing it back towards my temples. For highlighter, I do own highlighters that would match my eyes perfectly, that do have that pink iridescence to them, but I thought that might be a little bit too much as I do already have that on my eyes. So I'm going to go in with the Milani Afterglow Strobing Light in number 1 instead, and I'm just going to pop this on the tops of my cheekbones and bringing it around to above my brow, just anywhere where I applied that liquid highlighter earlier. Also popping that in my inner corner and on my brow bone to highlight. Let's quickly lock everything into place with the Kat Von D Lock It Setting Mist. And this has a really nice mist to it, so it doesn't like shoot out on your face and ruin your makeup like some setting sprays do. This is just nice and fine. For lips, I found a lip shade in my collection that's going to match this look perfectly. It has that like purpley red undertones to it, and that is the Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lipstick in Family Jewels, and this is from the Summer Chrome collection. And this is how the look turned out. I'm so happy with it. I think it's something a little bit different. You know, you've got that pink iridescent shade on the lid, yet it's still wearable colors. So I really hope that you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.